Good evening and thank you for tuning in to the Moreau Report tonight. I'm Jeff Ackerman.
And I'm Liz Jester.
Tonight is December 14th, 2012, a week before the predicted end of the world on the Mayan calendar. There's been a lot of talk about whether next week will be the end of the world, but tonight we're here to tell you that you really have nothing to worry about and that it's all a myth.
There's been some drastic measures taken by people lately. There have been break-ins, suicides, murders, even some ritual animal sacrifices. So, we want to see what all this chaos is about.
Exactly. People are split whether or not they believe that it is going to be the end of the world next week or if nothing is going to happen at all. Our own reporter, Kyle Swenson, is out live on the scene talking to people about what they think is going to happen. Kyle?
Good evening. My name is Kyle Swenson. I had the opportunity to gauge people's reactions to the Mayan 2012 prophecy that the world will end on December 21st, 2012. I took to the streets and I got the reactions. Have you heard of the Mayan 2012 end of the world prophecy?
I have.
You have. So, do you believe in this prophecy?
I do. I mean, the Mayans were extremely advanced in mathematics and in engineering and in astronomy, so if they say the world's going to end, I'm going to believe them.
So have you heard of the Mayan 2012 end of the world prophecy?
Yes, I have heard of it.
So, do you know anything about this, and do you believe in this prophecy?
I don't really know much about it, but I do not believe in it.
And there you have it.
I don't know if I believe in it. I think it's interesting, and it may hold some light, but I don't know if I believe in it exactly.
I don't believe in it.
Now, what makes you so interested in this prophecy?
I think it's interesting that I'm sorry. I think it's interesting that there's like multiple different prophecies that all say 2012 is the end of the world. But again, I don't think I believe it, but I think it's interesting because it's in our lifetime, so it could be in a year.
I just don't believe there's enough evidence to really back it up, because I think it's more of a theory, and theories can be disproved. So.
And there you have it. Excuse me, hi. Do you believe in the Mayan 2012 end of the world prophecy?
No.
You don't believe in it. Why not?
Because that's a good question. Because I think the reason the Mayan calendar ended then was because they all died, because people came and killed them, not because of some great prophecy.
All right. And there you have it.
It's a firm belief that people have made predictions about the world ending numerous times before that, and nothing's happened so far. I like to live my life to the fullest and knowing that it's not going to end, so.
I wish I could live my life like that. And there you have it. Hello. Do you believe in the Mayan end of the world prophecy projected in 2012?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Now, why is that?
Sham. It's a complete sham.
And there you have it.
Some people say that it just ran out of room on the rock, but I truly believe that the sun's going to just make everybody just burn up, incinerated.
Now, have you heard of the Mayan end of the world prophecy projected in 2012?
Yes.
Do you believe in this prophecy?
No.
Now, why don't you guys believe in this? Because the Mayans were very advanced in science and technology.
I think they just got really lazy and they stopped making the calendar.
Well, my Christian beliefs make it a little far-fetched for me, so yeah, find it a little hard to believe.
And there you have it.
I know there's a lot of hype about it. I feel like it's been overplayed a lot, but a lot of people do seem to think that it will be the end of the world. And I know there's been like several past predictions that these are going to be the dates that the world will end and whatnot. But basically, pretty much what I know about it is kind of what I've just heard through the news and what's been going around through the airwaves and stuff like that. So.
What have you heard about the Mayan end of the world prophecy projected in 2012?
I heard that the world is supposed to end. I think the details have been fuzzy about how. And I think it's just because the calendar, the Mayan calendar, is just ending in the year 2012. So I know a lot of people are going kind of crazy about it, but I don't know, I'm not too worried.
Have you heard of the Mayan 2012 end of the world prophecy?
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys have. That's great. Do you believe in this prophecy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why do you guys believe in this prophecy?
The Mayans wrote it.
Well, his grandfather was a Mayan.
Yeah.
He contacted us from the dead and said
Yeah.
And there you have it.
Thanks, Kyle. Wow, seems like people are pretty worked up about what's going on these days.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm really happy I'm not out there right now. I
Me
mean,
too.
it seems like
Me too.
people are kind of freaking out.
Crazy
but,
scene out there.
Exactly.
So to give you an overview of the Mayan calendar and what's really behind all this chaos, we're going to pitch it over to Dr. Cahill, who's live into New Mexico. Grace? Oh, oops, Dr. Cahill?
Hi, I'm Dr. Grace Cahill, and I'm here to clarify the Mayan calendar and why their predictions do not spell the end of the world for humanity as we know it. The Mayan calendar was divided into what the Mayans called katuns in a bigger, long cycle, which is how they recorded history in the passage of time. And at the end of each katun, they had predicted horrible fates that were to occur, to include famine, wars, bad government, things that weren't supposed to happen. So the Mayans predicted horrible fates to occur at the end of each katoon, and of these there are 13, the last ending a week from today, December 21st, 2012. And at the end of this katoon, the prediction is that there will be epidemics, wars, plagues, and the judgment of God, which most people take to mean the apocalypse, but just because the Mayans didn't predict anything past next week does not mean that we are all going to die.
Thanks, Grace. That was really informative.
Absolutely. So you may have heard one or all 5 of the prophecies about 2012 and the end of the world. So we're going to give you a quick overview of all 5. So the first theory you might have heard is that there have been 3 or 4 previous races of humanity before us. We're the 4th or 5th. And the Mayans believe that we'll be destroyed by earthquakes and other major cataclysms.
Another misconception and theory about this katoon is that the first half of this time period, people would have food, but the second half, people wouldn't have any food at all. And that would lead to the end of human race.
Another theory is that as the Earth is passing through transition and humanity's passing through transition, there will be global convergence of environmental destruction, social chaos, war, and ongoing Earth changes.
Another prediction for the end of the world is that the Earth would undergo a magnetic shift.
And finally, the last theory is that an asteroid or comet will collide with the Earth. If that were to happen, our ozone would be destroyed, making human life impossible.
To prove to you at home that the myths and prophecies are not true, we got the opportunity to speak to an expert about the subject.
Grace Cahill joined us in the studio before we sent her off to Tanu. So I'm here in the studio with one of South Africa's premier scientists, Grace Cahill. Grace, can you tell us really quickly how you got into the field of science and more particularly astronomy?
Of course, Liz, and I wanted to say thank you for having me. It's so nice to get to meet you. I got into astronomy actually through one of my professors in college who I liked a lot. Professor Moreau was just really an inspiration to me and helped foster my love of astronomy.
What a coincidence, because we're the Moreau Report, so, you know,
Wow.
Who knows how that happened. That's just crazy, right? So now that we know a little of your background, you've heard all the theories about December 21st, 2012 and how the world is going to end, apparently. Can you tell us what you think on that? What's your take on that?
I think that it's a big feeder for media. I'm sure you saw the movie 2012. People take advantage of a prediction that means almost nothing. I can see how some fanatics can argue that during one of the predicted cycles that predicted presidential or corruption in government, we had the Watergate scandal, which that could be attributed to it, but also could be a coincidence. Another frequently cited example during a prediction where we would have a global catastrophe, the Children's Army was really big in Africa and they had a famine. So although those could be cited as examples, they could just also be coincidence. I don't think there's much academic merit to any of the Mayan predictions.
So before this interview, you sat down with me in the studio and you told me about the 5 Mayan calendars. And what about those calendars tells you that the world is not going to end next week?
Well, Liz, the Mayans had them as a way of marking time and their way of imposing order on their daily lives. And although they were quite pessimistic and all of the katoons but one had a negative fate, Katoon 12 actually had a positive spin, and they thought that there would be peace and prosperity in the Mayan community. But when they predicted things such as a change in religion, in one of their cartoons, the Spanish Inquisition that came and conquered them and enforced Christianity on them wasn't actually in that cartoon, so they have been wrong many times before. Most of their predictions haven't come true, so that's why there's next to no way that the world is going to end just because the Mayan calendar ended.
Well, thank you, Grace. You know I can sleep a little easier now knowing that such a great scientist really does not believe in all of these outlandish claims that the world is going to end. So thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you, Liz. It's so much fun working with you.
Wow, Liz, what a great experience.
Absolutely.
For you to talk to like an expert scientist like that, that's really great. What did you learn?
Well, you know, she's fantastic, and I learned a lot, but what I really got from the interview is that the Mayans have predicted all kinds of catastrophes and crazy things happening, and most of the time they haven't come true. And so right now we're really caught up in the moment. We think the world's going to end, but I think in 7-8 days we'll realize we were being a little silly.
I hear you, Liz. Anyway, that's all the time we have left for this show. I really hope you enjoyed our show, and I hope you learned a lot from what we told you about what the predictions are and why you shouldn't be afraid about them.
And we hope that you all will stop the ritual animal sacrifices, stop the break-ins. Everything is going to be fine.
You have nothing to worry about.
So we'll see you in 7 days when we're all still alive.
Have a good evening.
But we have bloopers.
And historically, December.
Tonight our show is to talk about the predicted end of the world for next Friday. Is it Friday? That's the day of the week?
I don't know why y'all or where y'all got Friday. I just know it's December 20th.
Why did I say?
Oh, I can figure it out with my iPhone.
All right. Good night. Good night.
Good night, Jeff.
Another prophecy about the sorry, let me start over again. That it would hit our Earth, and then everything would destroy after it hit the Earth.
I said in an essay.
Yeah. Oh my God. Sorry, we're recording. I'll talk after.
So we're the 4th or 5th, and the Mayans think that we're going to be destroyed mostly by earthquakes and other Earth catastrophes. Okay, never mind.
To prove to you that the 5 myths and prophecies about the future are not true, we got the opportunity to speak to an expert on the subject.
So before we sent Grace Cahill to Tanum, we had her in our very own studio to talk to her. Wait, that's a little repetitive. Why don't we just all say that when I'm sitting?
Should we give you a different name? Like you're not Grace?
No, I don't want a different name. That's awkward.
I just don't.
To prove to you at home that the myths and prophecies for next week are not true, we got the opportunity to... Were you just laughing?
Well, I was smiling because I was like, but then I was like, that's stupid, so I laughed.
All right, that's fine.
I was trying to take notes from them because they were all smiling. They were all like,
focus, guys!
All right.
So I'm here in the studio with one of South Africa's premiers. Sorry. I wanted to switch it up a little.
I like South Africa.
Okay.
End of the world prophecy?
Yes.
All right. Do you believe in this prophecy?
Yes.
Why do you believe in this prophecy?
Well, the Mayans were extremely advanced in mathematics.
I can't do this. I can't do this.
I can do this.
That was pretty funny. I laughed. Say that this prophecy is false. So you do realize that this... Oh, God. Well, there you have it.